James Mathers for the Digital Cinema Society at NAB 2026. I'm here in the OWC booth with the founder and CEO of the company, Larry O'Connor. Larry, you always have lots of new stuff. What do you got for me this year?
Where do we start? You know, everybody every year comes up with all these new needs, new requirements, faster speeds, better connectivity, and we're really here to listen to that and deliver products that meet those needs and solve those problems, and ultimately just be the stuff that works so you can do the hard work. We've already done the work needed in these solutions so that your hardware is there performing at its best always. The Studio Stack brings you Thunderbolt 5 downstream ports, so it's got an integrated Thunderbolt 5 hub, one Thunderbolt 5 into it, and gives you 3 ports out, full speed, which is the beauty of Thunderbolt 5. We could spend a lot of time talking about Thunderbolt 5 and the miracle, the magic that you get with Thunderbolt 5 and all those expansion ports. Inside it lets you put up to, today, a 28 terabyte hard drive and up to an 8 terabyte SSD. So you're adding SSD storage, you're adding at full speed, you're adding physical spinning storage, which today is really great storage to have given what's happened with SSD costs. And then it's also giving you more downstream ports. In addition to those downstream Thunderbolt ports, we also give you a couple of legacy USB-A ports, which are missing from everything. And there's still a lot of little devices and things you connect with USB-A floating around. So this solves for that. And as a form factor, fits beautifully with certainly the latest Mac Mini, a little smaller, but it's a perfect stack on top of your Apple Studio.
Well, we appreciate that OWC helps us keep up with new technology, but you also help us with legacy equipment.
Well, that's important. I mean, things should be as backwards compatible as possible and as forward compatible as possible. And this is kind of a philosophy from day one, how we got into this space. You should never be forced to upgrade, never be forced to replace what you have, never be forced to put something on the sidelines that still provides capability and good functionality. But I'll get into the Envoy, this new Form 2 Ultra product. This is a DIY. We have our Thunderblades, which ship pre-configured. This is DIY for up to 4 M.2 blades, very compact, very quiet, has very easy, a nice access inside. So you see that drive activity without it lighting up your room or blinding you, which is important. All of our products today either offer the soft lights, and for the most part allow you to turn them off. Thunderblades have turn-off switches, all these things. So if you have to be in an environment that needs to be completely dark, those are options that we have listened to and we have brought into these products. This product, Thunderbolt 5, you have a downstream Thunderbolt 5 port on it, so you can actually plug a display into this. You get speeds. This is actually running right here. Nonetheless, over 6,000 megs a second read and write, so it's very high performance. That downstream Thunderbolt port, you can plug a 6K display into, no impact to the performance, and that's the magic of Thunderbolt 5. So DIY, for those that want to build it themselves, it's thermally conducted, the entire enclosure, like a lot of our products, but built so that you can DIY it right and not have to worry about thermal overload and always get that maximum performance with the drives you want to build with.
I haven't seen it before, and I was wondering why.
Well,
I'm pretty familiar with your products.
Well, it'll be shipping in just a couple of weeks, but this is the first time that it's been anywhere. We have our Thunderbolt. This is Thunderbolt 5 Dual 10G dock. We've talked about this probably a few times. Introduced it last year at IBC. It's a product that we can barely keep on the shelves because it solves a network problem like nothing else. It has 2 10G ports on the back. Those are 2 dedicated full bandwidth ports, and there's even a 2.5G port on the front. The 2 10G ports support Dante. It supports all the different audio protocols, any NDI, any different way you need SDI, any different way you need to connect to the network. This is the great solution for.
They say the workflows are like snowflakes. Everyone's completely different.
100%, and we listened, and we actually a lot of special thanks to actually Jason Bosch, who spent a lot of time talking to different people in different environments to get, I would say, a lot of the feedback that helped us tweak this solution and make it the very best it could be. Even the little adjustment on the side, this is something you remove or add so you can secure your power cable so there's not a chance of the power cable being yanked. Little details like that. We really appreciate the feedback from all of our customers, all the studio folks out there that said, we need this, and hey, can you do this and this and this? And this also, by the way, has 3 downstream Thunderbolt 5 ports, full bandwidth. So in addition to doing all your networking, Thunderbolt 5 gives you all that bandwidth you need for additional displays, more stores, whatever it might be, without interfering with the primary purpose, the primary offering of this dock, which is that network. We have our OWC Express 80. This is another product we offered up to 8 terabytes. It was the first. It continues to be the highest capacity and portability. We have this this is USB 4 V280. We also brought out our Envoy Ultra 8 terabyte, which is the Thunderbolt 5 certified version, so to speak, that's also dustproof and waterproof. I won't even get into the semantics of it other than run it over with a truck, submerge it in water, and plug it in, and your data is still safe, and it is up to 8,000 gigabytes, 8 terabytes of storage, along with over 6,000 megabytes of sustained throughput for the first part, and then it's sustaining data rates for the mass of the drive, well over 2,000 megs a second. Very fast storage, very portable storage, and literally it's been run over. This one, it would show some scratches this one had been, but has been run over with various trucks, buses, etc. The only thing this product and our other Envoys, we haven't been able to crack making it so that a steamroller. Surprise! The steamroller is designed to steamroll, and that's the one thing we haven't added to our specification requirement. But buses and trucks and vans and SUVs, no problem. And fireworks apparently too, based on some of our user videos. We love what users demonstrate on their own time with the what makes these things rugged. I will point to the book. It's a Windows machine, and I know some of us have to use Windows in our workflow. Some of us enjoy using Windows in our workflow, and at the end of the day, we all use the tools that work best. And Mac and Windows working in the same environment can both have their strengths, and in this particular case, getting data between the two, especially if it's multiple people in different places, however that might be, a good program to support compatibility is important. And MacDrive 12 for OWC allows you to take any Mac drive, including a software volume, and plug it into a PC Windows environment, and it mounts just like it would on your Mac. Now what's important about that, this is not kind of a fake translator type of thing or a fake job in terms of it mounting on the machine and just giving you access to some application. This is driver level. This basically, we provided the translate. We provided the knowledge base, however you might want to term it, for Windows to access both NFS is it's normal, but APFS as well as HFS Plus. And not only that, and we've done this, MacDrive was the very first program going back into the 90s to support Mac file system on PC. A few years ago, we brought out support for APFS. A few years after that, we brought out support for reading APFS and standard and writing APFS non-encrypted. With MacDrive 12, we're happy to announce that now we support writing to encrypted volumes. And there's nobody else on the planet that does anything like this. The closest competitor is half the speed, and they're doing a mount that's not compatible with all the different software applications because it's not really mounting the file system. And the worst part of it is, just like FAT32 or exFAT, those are systems that the exFAT file system is not. It's not an advanced file system with protections for your data. If the power goes out, if there's accidental disconnect, if there's any number of different things that go wrong with the OS, with Windows, you could lose all your data. That can happen on a Mac or a PC. When there's NTFS on Windows, or APFS on Mac, or even HFS Plus on Mac, there's file system protection so that you don't lose all your data and lose the whole drive. That's important to us, which is why we didn't bring out our write support until this brand new version 12. It took us, about 8 years when we put this as a focus to actually get this over the line and do it right. This is a full mount, and just like what happens on the Mac with APFS, happens on the PC. A disconnect that wasn't intended, power outage, line bump, whatever, you still have the same file protections that you do on the Mac. So it's extremely fast, it's a true file system mount, and you don't have to check off a disclaimer that says, oh, you're about to do something with an encrypted drive. We're not responsible if we lose all your data. And the only reason those kinds of disclaimers exist with certain products is because there is a very high risk. If something happens even with a non-encrypted drive with a competing product, the file system is corrupted. If it happens with the encrypted drive is completely lost. That does not happen with MacDrive 12. We care about all of our products, whether it's software or it's hardware, and of course our arrays drive. With really the performance-leading, reliability-leading software, we care about your data, and we go the extra mile, even when it means it might take years to get where it needs to be. We're not going to put you in a car where there's a chance that tire is going to blow out. Everything has its moments, but we make every step to see that your data is, you're not just going fast, not just going quiet, you're not just going cool, but you can trust it. And like when you get in the car and turn the key and go, you got 1,000 different things on your mind. You don't want to worry about the engine and everything else in there. And that's really the OWC way. Focus on your creative work, focus on the job at hand. This is going to do the work you need to do because it's been built right to do it.
We appreciate that OWC keeps us up to speed with the fastest new gear, that we can connect to the legacy gear, and now you even have us connecting to PCs.
Hey, we're not here to tell you what to use. We're here to support everything that you use and make it, as easy and trouble-free as possible.